There was a moment in history when winter stopped being a season and became an absolute menace. From the 1300s to the late 1800s, Europe got hit with something called the Little Ice Age. Basically, a 500-year cold streak where nature said, "I hope you like suffering." Crops failed. Winter stretched for months. People literally starved. And the craziest part? Nobody knew why. To them, it just felt like the apocalypse showed up uninvited and forgot to leave. Rivers froze so solid you could build houses on them. I'm not joking. In London, the Thames turned into a giant ice highway. People threw frost fairs on top of the frozen river. We're talking food stalls, horse races, bowling, printing presses, illegal gambling. Basically, the first winter festival, but with a small chance of dying. Meanwhile, farmers were like, "Yo, cool fair, dude, but yeah, all my cows are frozen." And this is where a man named Bruegel enters like, "I see tragedy. I see suffering. Perfect. Time to paint." Bruegel isn't just painting winter, he is inventing winter. In Hunters in the Snow, everything is frozen. The sky, the ponds, the village, even the dogs are like, "Bruh, really?" But Bruegel does something genius. He paints winter not as a background, but as the main character. Look at these tiny people. They're cold, they're tired, they're probably one frostbite away from giving up, but he turns them into poetry. And check the composition. A downward diagonal pulling your eye from the hunters, straight into the entire frozen world in front of them, like a visual slide into seasonal depression. Bruegel understood something rare. Winter isn't loud, it's silent, it's heavy. It's the kind of cold that makes time slow down. Even the color palette is revolutionary. Cool greens, muted whites, soft blues. It's like he drained the sun from the canvas on purpose. Then you get winter landscape with a bird trap. At first glance, it's adorable. Kids skating, families socializing, winter fun everywhere. Until you notice the trap. Bruegel is low-key telling us a horror story. Winter isn't just pretty, it's a predator. The frozen river? Dangerous. The thin ice? Deadly. The trap baiting the birds? A metaphor for how winter deceives you. Bruegel's winter scenes aren't cozy, they're uncomfortable. Exactly what Europe felt during the Little Ice Age. By the time Bruegel paints Return of the Herd, winter isn't simply arriving, it's devouring the world. The cows are rushing, the shepherds are rushing, even the clouds look like they're rushing. Winter becomes this massive presence that everything and everyone has to obey. Bruegel didn't just paint snow, he painted a whole civilization adjusting to disaster, and somehow it became iconic. Bruegel didn't paint kings, saints, or heroes. He painted people, tiny, vulnerable, surviving winter together. His winter scenes made everyday life epic. He took the coldest moment in history and turned it into the warmest art. But Bruegel wasn't the only painter shaped by the freezing moon. Someone else saw this icy landscape and turned it into complete chaos. Enter Hendrick Avercamp. Avercamp was born right into the Little Ice Age. He didn't discover winter, winter discovered him. While Bruegel saw philosophy in the snow, Avercamp saw entertainment. This painting is basically the Renaissance version of a crowded skating rink on Christmas Eve, but with twice the injuries. Look closely, everyone is doing something. There are people skating beautifully, people skating terribly, people falling, people judging the people falling, kids playing, adults chatting, dogs eating a dead horse, and this. Avercamp's paintings are packed with micro-stories. Every inch of ice has drama. You can also see a clear reference to Bruegel's winter landscape with ice skaters and bird trap at the bottom left. It's like he invented Where's Waldo 300 years early, but instead of Waldo, you're looking for the next person about to fall. He didn't paint winter as a mood. He painted winter as a community event. And that's what makes him unique. Instead of focusing on suffering, he focuses on life. He shows how people adapt, how they socialize, how they make joy out of frozen misery. Avercamp builds on Bruegel's palette, the cold greens, the icy blues, but adds warmth through movement. His winter isn't lonely like Bruegel's. It's crowded, loud, full of energy. You feel movement, community, noise, even though the painting is silent. If Bruegel captures winter from above, like a philosopher guy watching humanity, Avercamp is in the scene, elbow to elbow with the villagers, dodging ice skaters. Bruegel paints the existential dread of winter. Avercamp paints the group chat. Avercamp knew winter wasn't cute, but he also knew people would make the best of it. So he paints winter not as a threat, but as an event. The Little Ice Age reshaped everything in art. The colors, the themes, the emotions, even the way people saw the world. Before the Little Ice Age, winter scenes were rare, flat, kind of background filler. But once Europe froze, painters suddenly needed new colors, an entire cold vocabulary: icy blues, pale greens, muted grays, soft, washed out whites. Artists basically invented the cold palette on the fly. This is where the modern winter aesthetic comes from. Before this, landscapes were mostly warm, sunny, idealized. You know, Italy propaganda. And boom, you get the birth of the winter landscape. Painters stop treating winter like a decorative afterthought and start treating it like a protagonist. Winter forces artists to explore new themes: silence, survival, isolation, community, human fragility, how tiny we are versus nature. This is why Bruegel's villagers feel so small. Winter becomes a metaphor for existence itself. Look at how landscapes suddenly open up. Horizon lines drop, skies get bigger, foreground figures get smaller. Painters start using emptiness as composition. The cold literally expands the canvas. Winter wasn't just an art subject. It changed people's lives so much that everyday activities became visual inspiration. Frost fairs, frozen rivers, winter clothing, ice games, and accidents. Painters had endless new content, a real-life DLC. The colder climate even altered religious imagery. Suddenly, biblical scenes take place in snowy villages. Everyone's wearing Flemish clothing, and Mary looks like she's about to yell at someone for leaving the door open. Winter pushes religious art toward realism, toward local reality. Our entire modern idea of Christmas, snowy cottages, icy ponds, cozy villages, comes straight from this era.